Good morning, Facebook. So good to see you again. Pastor Kyle here, Seven Locks Baptist Church. This morning, I wanted to share with you a story that my mentor in ministry, Bill Wright, shared with me a long time ago about a famous pastor in the 20th century by the name of R.G. Lee. He was a pastor in the Memphis area for many, many years, and he was known for three things. First of all, he was known for always wearing white suits when he preached. He was known for a very famous sermon of his called Payday Someday, which you can actually still find on YouTube. And he was known for being a workaholic. Until finally one day, his wife and the church leadership got a hold of him and said, "You have got to take a vacation. You need to take 2 weeks off because you haven't had a vacation in years." So RG got in the car with his wife and drove out of Tennessee and into neighboring Arkansas and began to tour the Ozark Mountains. And it was great. He really enjoyed being out and getting a break, even though it was hard for him to do so. But after almost 2 weeks of not being in church, he couldn't stand it anymore. And as he and his wife were driving, they noticed a little country church out in the mountains that was having a revival that day. And so RG begged his wife, "Please, please, please stop the car. I promise I'll be good." Almost like a little kid. "I promise I won't talk to anybody. We'll sit on the back row. No one will recognize me. I'm not wearing my white suit." So his wife said fine, and they parked the car and they went into the church and sat on the back row. And wouldn't you know it, that the young man who was preaching the revival that day got up and began to preach wearing a white suit, RG's most famous sermon, Payday Someday, word for word. And the young man didn't even give RG credit. Well, after the service was over, RG was kind of itching in his pew, even though his wife was trying to tell him, "Hey, be calm. Let's just go." Well, as RG was walking out of the church and the young man who had just preached his sermon was at the back greeting everyone, he shook the young man's hand, and he shook it long and hard, and he looked him in the eyes and he said, "Young man, that was a really good sermon," hoping that the young man would recognize him and give him credit for it and thank him for writing it. But the young man just looked back and said, "Oh, thank you so much. Have a great day." Well, when RG got in the car, he sat down in the passenger seat and just plopped down, and his wife was behind the wheel. And he started to rant and rave. "I can't believe that young man took my sermon and said it word for word and wore my white suit and didn't give me credit for anything. Can you believe it, dear?" And his wife very calmly looked over at him from the driver's seat and said, "RG, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that sermon, but I can tell you that was the best one." After that, RG didn't say anything else for a long time. But something changed in him that day. He was humbled because he'd always been known for being very secretive with his manuscripts and holding everything close to his chest and not sharing with anyone. But after that day, when his wife said what she said, he was totally the opposite. He was constantly running over to younger pastors and giving them his manuscripts and saying, "Here, this is my stuff. Take it and make it better." And he was transformed because he finally understood humility. One of the most striking verses that the Apostle Paul writes about Jesus, and it was one that my granddad circled in the Bible he gave me for my 18th birthday, is Philippians 2:5. It says, "Your attitude should be the same as that of Christ Jesus." The following verses continue saying, "Who being in the very nature God, didn't consider equality with God something to be grasped, but instead taking on the form of a servant and becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross." My friends, Jesus is humble, and as we seek to follow him and connect with him in a relationship, he calls us to a path of humility, a path of service. Jesus said himself in the Gospels, he didn't come to be served, but to serve and to give his life for others. So when we think about that today, I just want to encourage you to know that we have a great joy in life, and it's to know life doesn't have to be all about us. We're here to serve and help each other. And Jesus promised that every time we serve anyone, whatever we do for the least of these, we're doing for him. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I hope this has been an encouragement to you and brighten your day. We would love to connect with you in person if you're in the greater DMV area. Seven Locks Baptist Church worships every Sunday morning at 11. We have Bible study at 9:45. We'd love to see you there. If you're far away or even if you're close by and this has been a great encouragement to you, please hit the like button and don't hesitate to share this on. Thank you so much, and we look forward to connecting with you again in this way. Have a great day.